I don't know what's going on with the idiocy I'm seeing going on around me, but I'm assuming that a lot of people are very misinformed and poorly educated, and a lot of people, most people, are probably being distracted by propaganda that's shoved down our throat through the FCC and, filtered internet. I'm noticing, like, I'm trying to research topics on YouTube, and some of that is only showing me propaganda that's destructive and encourages hate speech. I'm not going to mention the subject matter because that's not what this is about, man. We're coming up on an economic cataclysm. Like, we're kind of already in one. But for me, I have lived a life of extreme adversity. Like, I grew up with a mom that, like, was trying to fucking murder me. And I'm trying to make it out of this hole, but I, like, broke my foot. And the economy is just getting worse. And I'm trying to get work right now. And, I busted out a tooth. I had a filling, like a crown, and I just realized I busted that out, and I'm trying to line up a shit ton of interviews right now. So, I don't know what we're going to do, but what's really making me angry is the lack of education in my peers and this distraction with all these bullshit issues that we're having our attention brought to, when we all know, I mean, if you bring it up, we all know that the American government's corrupt. This is an oligarchy. This is not a republic. This is not a democracy. This is an oligarchy. And a good chunk of the population cannot afford to have a fucking roof over their heads. I'm just looking, we got the advent of AI coming to destroy a shit ton of jobs in a population that's not really got a college education, because some douchebags, like in most things that we're dealing with, because we're in an oligarchy, have made things so incredibly expensive trying to stuff their own pockets that it's become unaffordable, and a lot of people have not gotten a college education. So, a lot of us are getting fucked right now. What are we going to do about it? Because what's making me angry is nobody's doing anything about this. A lot of people know, at least to some extent, that we're getting horribly screwed here. But nobody's doing anything about it. And I'm angry enough, I might stay up and make a second video, so you could look for a second video. I'll read whatever I have on there. But we need to stop being submissive, because people are lining their pockets with our paychecks is what's going on. They're taking a larger percentage of the money being made by the workers, and now we can't afford to live. It's not like there's not a way to fix it. How do we defeat the people that are making all of our lives a living hell? Because it's a select few that are taking all of the money that is being generated by millions, billions of people, and hoarding it for themselves, and have a ridiculous amount of money, and control politics. Defeating the world's oligarchs is a complex and difficult task that requires a collective effort from people all around the world. Here are some steps that could be taken. 1. Raise awareness. The first step in defeating the world's oligarchs is to raise awareness about their existence and the ways in which they manipulate and control the political and economic systems. This can be done through social media, protests, and other forms of activism. 2. Hold leaders accountable. People can hold their leaders accountable for their actions and demand that they act in the best interest of the people rather than the oligarchs. This can be done through protests, elections, and other forms of political engagement. 3. Support grassroots movements. Grassroots movements that focus on social and economic justice can challenge the power of the oligarchs. Supporting these movements through donations, volunteering, and other means can help to build momentum and create change. 4. Boycott companies. The oligarchs often control large corporations that dominate the global economy. Boycotting these companies and supporting local businesses can reduce the power of the oligarchs and promote a more equitable economy. 5. Push for reforms. Pushing for reforms that limit the power of the oligarchs and promote greater democracy and equality is essential. This can be done through lobbying, voting, and other forms of political engagement. 6. Educate yourself. Finally, educating yourself about the issues and the strategies used by the oligarchs can help you become more effective in your efforts to defeat them. Reading books, attending workshops, and joining groups that focus on these issues can help you become a more effective activist. We have to do this. We're getting screwed. Okay? AI is about to take millions of jobs. The public is not educated because they haven't been going to school. Do you really think, with all the stuff that we've been dealing with and what these people are doing, that they have our best interests in mind and that things are just going to be okay because some magical fairy is going to sprinkle dust across the world and it's just going to be okay? We have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And if you don't want the entire life that you live to be absolute crap, we better figure this out. That's where I'm at. I'm staying up. I can't sleep because I'm stressed. 3 minutes, part 3. Here's what I want you to remember. A lot of the crap that we're seeing on the internet right now is filtered, and a lot of it's propaganda, and a lot of it's made to distract you and get you emotionally lit up about things that are a lot less legitimate than what all of us are dealing with right now. And the thing is, we can blame the economy on the Ukraine war and the COVID and everything, but there's these billionaires that if you look at various charts, I'm seeing the same trend on a lot of the things that I find to be problems in my life. And it's the hoarding of money from the super rich. And they're not doing their part, and if they continue to hoard that money, and if they continue to have us working our butts off and feeding them, it's taking more and more out of the public pool. So then there's less and less and less for us to share amongst each other anyways. So we can pay and pay and pay out of taxes, but if they're not paying taxes and they're hoarding all the wealth, then impoveritization of the world's people would be inevitable. But the politicians don't want to do anything about it. They're not taking any serious action on this specific issue because their pockets as individuals are being lined by these people. Because as public servants who are supposed to uphold the moral good of society, they have failed to do so in interest of their own power and financial greed and lack of interest due to elderly age. In 2011, we saw the world's people start to collectively organize and rise up, and then you saw multiple governments come in and start censoring the internet. Ajit Pai was making moves within the FCC. We saw the crap about SOPA and all of that. Well, they have moved forward with all of that, and Facebook's not even useful anymore. It is like next to impossible to organize people. You don't see live streams from what's happening across war lines anymore because they don't want us to know what the people that are going through warfare are actually going through, because then we'll get it lit up, and us people will allow these economic wars to continue to take place. YouTube has some very useful information on it, and I use it quite a bit as a tool of education, but I am seeing that it's being slanted because I'm trying to look for stuff on some of the human rights issues that women are dealing with violence, and it's not coming up. I'm out of time. I'm lit right now. I'm lit because I'm learning and I'm learning and I'm learning, and I see a lot of the crap going on, and there's a lot of people doing drugs and just completely distracted from reality, and it makes me feel like I'm in a zombie apocalypse. I am an activist. I spent 7 years of my life working on changing policy. And I know that we can do these things, but I know that it's gotten harder and harder to do it. And part of it is the strain that our politicians have caused by making circumstances more and more difficult for us. And we don't get paid for this work. And we get burnt out. And we give up. And I keep trying to make little efforts here and there to try and get people talking and get people working on doing something about their problems. But people would rather complain than face their fears and face reality. And it really makes me wonder where the drugs are coming from. if there's so many people that are using them, and I'm surrounded by this level of ignorance. We have to do something. I really do not think that we should have good enough reason and good faith to believe that our best interests are being served. I feel like over the past 20 years we've watched nothing but constant demoralization of the public. Like, human trafficking is just going on blatantly out in the public, and you can go on Google and watch that stuff for free. Like, we don't know who these people are, and this stuff is just being allowed. Back when I was a kid, things that were appropriate at least had a label on the CD. You couldn't get such easy access to these things. But it's everything that feeds hedonistic desire, that creates shock value, that's getting attention right now because it makes money. And it is destroying us as human beings. We're stressed, we're lonely. There's statistics on these things. It's not just me. It's a lot of people right now. Why are we letting this go on? I blame everyone at this point. This is willful submission. And I don't blame the oligarchs anymore, and I don't blame the government anymore, because the people don't give a damn. We have common interest. Party doesn't. Kind of mad right now. And I've only got 3 minutes. And I could go on and on and on and on and pull up stuff on the computer and spend all this time making videos about things that I already know. I don't feel like I should have to do that because other people don't want to take the time to learn and aren't very concerned about what's going on around them. But anyways, I've seen some stuff in the news recently. The United States government is trying to ban TikTok. They're pretty head on with that. You know, I watched the recent congressional hearing. I think that one was about it was a little bit ago, about raising the debt ceiling. And that whole conversation was about engaging economic warfare with China. TikTok is a very, very small picture when it comes down to it. But I do see that there seems to be this trend where, like, anywhere that people seem to be able to, like, make money for themselves to improve their quality of life for the general population, those tools typically seem to be taken away. But I am also noticing, you know, one thing I really like about TikTok is a positive environment on here. I can't stand being on Facebook anymore. All I see is crap, just useless garbage. It's like the trailer park of the internet. There's nothing good there anymore. It's not useful. Nobody talks to each other. It's just crap, just trash. I feel the same way about, like, Instagram. And so anyways, here's the thing about this, though. They keep making these claims, oh, TikTok's going to be spying on us, they're spying on us, but there is no furnished proof of any way that this is actually being done. These are illegitimate claims. And after listening to the congressional hearing on raising the debt ceiling, with the whole plan being engaging in economic warfare against China, TikTok is a tiny speck of sand in all of that. But it is a place where we are able to have positive messages out there and focus on things that are morally correct. I have noticed this about this environment, and hate speech is not encouraged. So then people who have been getting beat up by society, turning into a hellhole, have an opportunity to actually speak up in some way, so long as they voice themselves delicately. And as an individual, I'm pretty angry to see that tool taken away, because I know that in the United States, 1 in 5 women are victims of rape. That is rape. There are other, you know, there's sexual assault and other stuff like that. That's not included in those statistics. And all I see when I try to research this issue is propaganda that doesn't help us improve conditions. Like I said, I could go on and on. There's a lot of crap going on here. The world's going to hell. Everybody's paying the price right now. We need to figure out, as people, how we're going to deal with our collective problems, such as housing and energy cost of living, being able to survive and at least have a freaking roof over your head. I don't know why we're expected to go to work without being able to take a shower. Some of us don't have the privilege of having family, having our back. Actually, I think, the smarter you are, the less likely you are to have kids. So there's a lot of drug addicts and stuff out there popping out kids and just traumatizing them. And then they come out screwed up. And that just causes more problems. So I think people do need their independence, and they at least need to have a stable roof over their head. But we need to prepare for, like, full-scale censorship at this point. I mean, the United States is trying to ban TikTok. They've already destroyed Facebook. We're not able to freely communicate across international lines as civilians regarding how our governments are victimizing the people in order to find resolution to the Commonwealth issues, things we all have in common. I really do not give a damn about bipartisan politics because all that's a game. Oh my God, dude. Fundamental principle of manipulating people on the basic and the masses. We have biological drivers that make us need to be socially accepted because we won't survive, because we don't have sharp teeth and can't run fast. So we have to have a tribe. So if we don't have a sense of belonging, we have physiological consequences that will actually bring us closer to death. Study some psychology. Do some learning. So when you create an other, it makes it really easy to have nothing to play on. You could be a damn idiot and come up to some dude that's got red shoes and be like, you see those yellow shoes guys over there? We're not like them. I'm like you because we both have red shoes. The yellow shoes are bad guys. And it all goes downhill from there. Racism, sexism, ism, all of it. Same game. And it's done using biological drivers. That's why it's so freaking simple to manipulate people so easily that way. We need to be ready to be shut off from communication and figure out how we're going to handle our shit. How do we do that?